Good morning, Sir Aizan and Prof. Dr. Muhammad Faiz Liu. I'm Ilana Lintakoh, DE180023. I'll present my final year project 1, and the title is Development of Indoor FBMC VLC link using Matlab Simulink. My supervisor is Dr. Rahmat bin Talib. First of all, I'm going to explain what is FBMC and VLC. So FBMC is filter bank multi-carrier and VLC is visible light communication. First, I'm going to present for the background of my project. So in communication system, there is a collection equipment that allow information to be transmitted between two stations, which is transmitter and receiver. So according to communication theory, electromagnetic spectrum includes everything from gamma rays to radio wave, where human eyes can only perceive visible light. So for wireless transmission, a typical communication system uses radio wave, infrared, and visible light. So in the project that I've been doing is about visible light and filter bank multi-carrier. So the entire visible light spectrum is 10,000 times the size of the complete radio spectrum, and a huge expanses of visible light spectrum, which offer 300 terahertz of free bandwidth carried on visible wavelength, make visible light communication a viable option, especially with mobile traffic predicted to increase by 2021. So filter bank multi-carrier, or FBMC, is a type of multi-carrier modulation that derives from orthogonal frequency division multiplexing, which is or FDM, to evaluate some of the difficulties. So FBMC makes better use of current channel capacity, which can provide higher data speed within the same radio frequency bandwidth. So FBMC is a solution that is both spectrum efficient and selective. So that is the project background, and next I will present the problem statement for my project. So the problem statement is the modulation technique is a critical component to consider in a VLC system, and the information of FBMC in VLC is limited, so not a lot of researcher tell more detail about FBMC in VLC. So there's limited information about FBMC, and there's a lot of RF development challenges to build system using FBMC with something like a large bandwidth and a lot of dynamic range. And the objective for my project is to develop FBMC using Matlab Simulink software, as the result was stated, and to integrate the FBMC system with Indoor VLC model, also stated in the title, and to evaluate the performance of FBMC system based on the bit error rate, BER. So the simulation will be related about the BER of FBMC and the Indoor VLC model. Next is the scope of this project. So the scope of this project is focused on the objective of this project, which is the development of FBMC using Matlab Simulink software and integrate the FBMC with Indoor VLC model, and focusing on the evaluation of performance of FBMC system based on bit error rate. And the simulation is carried out, and the pseudo random bit sequence length used is 1024 bits by using 4 QAM symbol, and the indoor room dimension is 5 meter per 5 meter per 3 meter. So this is the scope of the project. Next is the methodology of the project. Before we proceed to the flowchart of this project, need to understand the block diagram of FBMC, which have two parts, transmitter and receiver. So from transmitter, started from data bit and proceed to the mapping and to the QAM processing and the series parallel, and then go to the frequency, go to the frequency spreading, and then extend the IFFT, and then go to the parallel serial overlap and go to the channel. So in the FBMC receiver, starting from the channel, go to the series parallel, and then extending the AFT, and then go to frequency overlapping, and then PS parallel series, and QAM post processing, and the symbol demapping, and then recover the data bits. And that is the block diagram of FBMC. And then proceed to the flowchart of this project, which start from building the FBMC system using Matlab Simulink, and do the simulation and see the result. If the result is not satisfying, troubleshooting will be done until the result is okay, and then proceed with the integrate of FBMC system with Indoor VLC model, and then do the simulation until the result okay, and the project is done. And then next is the preliminary result for this project, which starting from the define the parameter of the system, for the system. So for the FBMC simulation, I decided to use number of FFT, which is 1024, and number of guards 212, and K 4. K is overlapping factor. So use 4, and number of symbol is 100, and bits per carrier is 2, which is for QAM, and the SNR is 12. This is just the parameter of the system, and the number of FFT, number of guard, number of FFT, number of K, and number of bits per carrier already been decided. So number of symbols will be changed, depends on the result and performance. And next is the expectation result. In the end of the project, this project, implementation of VLC using FBMC will be done using Matlab Simulink to simulate the effect of indoor application based on typical room size. The room size that I've been using, that I stated in the scope of this project, is 5 meter per 5 meter per 3 meter. So that is the expected result, and I think that's all from me. Thank you.